Hi, Mrs. West. My name is Rob. I'm going to be your nurse today. We've already gained your height and weight outside. We've also already assessed your neuro status. So why you're here, your name, date, and what the situation is that brought you in. Full name, date, what situation brought you in. So before we get started, we're going to assess the hair. So up in the hair, we're looking for any lesions, any kind of bumps, bruises, the coarseness, texture, consistency of the hair. So now that we've done that, now we can go through and examine the cranial nerve. So we're looking at her nose. We're going to plug one side, have her smell. Okay. And then plug one side and have her smell. Okay. And then she would describe the smell that she smells from said different sense that we have. Now we're going to look up there, look for a deviated septum. And we're looking at the drainage to see what the drainage is. So this would be cranial nerve 1 with the smell. Cranial nerve 2 is with the eyes. On her history, it says that she wears glasses and contacts, so then we know that the Snellen test has already been done. But if not, we can walk out of the hall and do that again. Now we're going to look at the eyes. We're looking at 3, 4, and 6 for the eyes. So we're going to start with having her do rapid eye movements of opening and blinking your eyes to see how that, make sure it's symmetrical. Then we're going to check the perla, look straight ahead, and then make sure that eyes dilate, and then react appropriately. Now we're going to have her follow my finger. Okay. And you should see accommodation as we come to the nose. Okay. And then have her follow the finger up, down, up, down. Okay. That was 3, 4, and 6. Now we're going to go down to the mouth. With the mouth, we're going to have her puff out her cheeks, smile, frown, and then scrunch your forehead. And then making sure there's symmetry as we do that. And now, since we're at the mouth, before we move on, we got to check the TMJ. So we're going to check, have her, and pleasure in that. We're going, okay, perfect. We're going to examine for any kind of clenching, any kind of clicking. While we're here, we can also feel the lymph nodes up and down the neck, across the clavicles, to see if there's any kind of swelling, any kind of lumps, any kind of things concerning. And we can check her ears. She does wear hearing aids, so we were looking at any kind of, if there's any sores, any kind of issues around the ear, and examine the skin as we're in that area. And that would be 8 for the ears. Now we're doing 9, 10, and 12 with the tongue. So we're having her open her mouth wide, saying ah, stick your tongue out. And as we're looking down there, we're looking at the mucous membranes, we're looking at your, see if there's any missing teeth. We're looking at our larynx and pharynx, and then also right here, we could feel the tonsils if we were feeling if there's any swelling or abnormalities. So then the one we'd come down on the shoulders, so shrug your shoulders for me. Okay, do it again, and we're looking for a symmetrical rise and fall of the shoulders. As we're there, we can feel the skin, feel texture, come down to feel the pulses. Feel the pulses in the hands. Make sure they're even. We're checking the cap refill. Okay, squeeze my fingers. Okay, and then close your eyes. Sensation-wise, how does that feel? Feel the same, equal? Same. Okay. Now, before we move on, we're going to do the hand stuff. So we're doing up, flip, do it fast. Okay, and then do thumb to finger, thumb to finger, thumb to finger. Okay, and do it fast. Okay, perfect. And then do nose to my finger, nose to my finger. Okay, so we've checked those boxes. We've checked symmetry. Now we're going to go down. How does this feel? Same. Okay, and as we keep going down the foot, we're going to inspect her pulse. We would do it on both sides. Inspect pulse. And then we would do pulse checks, cap refill. And then with your foot, press up, press down. And then we're going to look at the clonus. So we're going to press up and then let go. And then we'll see if there's any warmth, any tenderness in her calf. And if there's any jolting going down. While we're down here, we can also check the ankle to see if there's any swelling, any pitting edema, and the ankles and the things. So, okay. And now, since we got you here, if you want to take this heel and start at the top of your foot and drag it up your shin, and then do the other side. Okay. And then we watch how that is affecting her. So before we move on, we want to check deep tendon reflexes. I was going to use a fork, but not a fork, a knife. But we could also just describe it to you. So we would do the tricep up here. We would do the brachial right here. And then we do the brachial radialis right here to see the thumb. And we would do the tibial right here. And then we would do the ankle one back here to see how her foot would flex. Okay, so we've done everything from head to toe that we can currently. So we're going to have her stand up. Stand up, please. Yep. And close your eyes. And we're going to watch her swing. We're going to keep her safe. Okay, you can open your eyes. Now turn towards the camera. Okay, put your heel to toe and walk towards the camera. And we're just watching her balance to see if there's any concerning. Now turn around. Concerning that. And then as she's doing so, we're going to examine the spine for any scoliosis, any kind of curvature. So if you want to sit on the chair but face the window. So we are going to do some tests on the back. So we're checking the symmetrical rise and fall of her chest. So we'll take a deep breath in, out, in. So we're checking to make sure it's even rise and fall on both sides. If it's not, then it could lead to something concerning. We also now can listen on the back. We'll listen to her lung sounds. Every time you hear that on your back, take a deep breath. Exhale. Same thing. Okay. Just breathe normal now. Okay. And then we're listening to all of the sides posteriorly. And now we're going to have her whisper a word. Go ahead. Take a deep breath in and then whisper as you. Okay. Okay. And if we hear anything, that could be signs of something concerning. And then we're doing the same thing, but saying 99. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, say 99.
99.
Whisper it though if you can. Okay, and then those would be all signs of something that would be more concerning in the lungs. If there's any fluid buildup, or if the rise and fall is off, then that could be something wrong with the lungs, and we might need to further evaluate that. Okay, so we've done everything in the back, except the vision one with the fingers going by side to side to see when she can test her peripheral vision. Let's do that because that one's kind of funny. Okay, look straight ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see my fingers, you say something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When do you see my finger?
Over here? Yeah, left side.
Yep. And then do this side.
Right side.
Yep. Okay, and that was symmetrical on both sides. Okay. I think it's kind of a funny test. But okay, if you want to take a seat. Now we've listened to the back, we've done the rises, we've done the falls, we've done the listening. Now we've got to auscultate, examine. So we've already examined the skin, we've looked at the swelling on the ankles, we've looked at the pulses. We've looked at the capillary flow. So vascularly, she's in a good standpoint. Now we got to listen. So before I listen to the chest, I'm going to listen. So look that way. Look to the side. We're listen for bruit. Okay. I don't hear anything. There is no wishing sound in her neck. So now I'm going to listen to her lungs. So we're listening to symmetrically on both sides. Okay. 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 and then on the outside. Okay. And now we're listening to all the heart sounds. So we're starting with the aortic, the pulmonic, herbs, tricuspid, and mitral valve. Okay. Now that we've listened there, we're going to first inspect the stomach. So we're inspecting for any bruising, any kind of redness, any kind of skin irritation. Okay, so now that I've inspected, so before I palpate, I want to check the liver, look for a dullness sign on the liver, and then check the spleen to make sure there's no abnormalities in the abdomen. Okay, so I've inspected visually, I've pounded, now I gotta listen. And then listen to all the different various quadrants across the stomach. So, and then I want to listen to all four quadrants at least, minimum of the maximum I want to listen is for 1 minute, but I want to at least hear I want to at least hear vowel sounds in each section. And as I do so, I will go across to listen to all the vowel sounds. Okay, so I listen to the various sites of the abdomen for vowel sounds. So now I would palpate, but doing alternating between light and deep pressure, and watch the patient's face, ask them for any concerns, any kind of pain on the various sites across the abdomen. Okay, so I inspected the abdomen. I've done the deep tendon reflexes. I've checked the skin. I've checked the pulses. I've had the patient walk. I've looked at the back. Thanks.